obviously a very disappointing loss. I thought a great effort by our players. Um, and if the game was, half a second longer, maybe we have a very, very different result. But I thought our kids, listen, it's been a very challenging season. And our players have dealt with a lot of adversity, for the last 4 months, whatever it has been. We've dealt with a lot of adversity and challenges this week. Um, yeah, and we've dealt with a lot of challenges in the last 24 hours, quite honestly, as we entered this game with 6 or 7 guys who weren't sure they were going to be able to play, and a few of them gutted it out and played very, very well. And one guy who wouldn't be playing anyway, he's redshirting, but he couldn't even leave the hotel today. So we had a bunch of guys getting IVs this afternoon. And I think it just says a testament to our guys. They played with a lot of pride. They played with a lot of heart. They gave everything they had. That's all we asked them to do. Obviously, wish the result had been different. But I can't fault the effort or the character or the care with which our players poured themselves into this game. So I'm extremely proud of them, and just really wish we had found a way to come up with a different result. Obviously, from a basketball perspective, we got hurt on the glass late in the game, whether that's, we were playing small, we had foul trouble, we had to sort of manage that. And so we got hurt on the glass late, and that hurt us, right? And then obviously in overtime, we weren't able to keep scoring like we had, throughout the course of the game. And we weren't able to get the same stops that we were able to get to the course of the game. So, hats off to Texas State. They could have very easily not continued to battle themselves. I thought you saw two teams that, haven't had the seasons that they expected to have, but two teams that, really, really competed at an extremely high level today, and two teams and a bunch of basketball players that did not want their season to end tonight.
We'll open up now for questions. Coach, was there anything you saw from Texas State coming out of the break, any adjustments they made? Obviously, you guys jumped out on them, had a 10-point lead at halftime. Anything you saw kind of in the second half that was different?
Yeah, I mean, they just kept, trying to pound it inside. They got to the foul line, a bunch, obviously, and they just kept, they did what they did. They did what they do. I don't know that they made a big adjustment. They changed defense a little bit and tried to keep us off rhythm. I don't know that obviously they went to the 1-3-1 there late when, at the end of game situations in overtime, which takes you a little out of rhythm for sure. But they just, they stepped it up a notch in terms of making effort plays. I thought for 30 minutes, we really outworked and out-efforted them. But in the last, 8 of regulation and then overtime, they took it up a notch, and so I give them credit for that.
And then, Coach, obviously you see the ball go through the net at the end of regulation there. Obviously it's called off. Didn't get off in time. How do you kind of try to regroup the team after a celebration, thinking you've won the game there on a buzzer beater, and then try to regroup and come out for an overtime period?
Yeah, obviously, if I could do that over again, I'd try to find a different way. That is a very, very challenging situation for our guys, right? I mean, there was a lot of emotion. I think that was released right there, thinking that we had won the game. And a lot of emotion that's been pent up, or for a long time through the course of the season, and so. Then to turn around and have to pick yourselves up and get back at it, it's very, very hard. But I give our players credit. That's what they've done all year, right? We've our results are not what we want. They're not what we expected. But our players bent, a few times over the course of the season, but we never broke. We. Again, I have a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for our players for the way that they've handled a very, very challenging season.